Assalamualaikum and a very good day to everyone. I am NURUL as the representative of my group which has chosen the title Rabies for this presentation. Without further ado, let's begin with the introduction of the disease. So what is rabies? Rabies is a preventable viral disease most frequently transmitted through the nibble of an aggressive animal. The rabies infection contaminates the central nervous system of warm-blooded creatures where the virus reproduces. Then it travels back through the nerve to most part of the body and releases into the saliva. Apart from that, rabies may be a viral zoonotic infection that causes dynamic and deadly irritation of the brain and spinal rope. There are two forms of the disease, namely furious rabies and paralytic rabies, and could belong to the family Rhabdoviridae and the sort Lissa virus. Next, country or area of infection. Classical rabies is found all across the world with the exception of a few isolated countries and Western Europe, which are considered rabies-free. Rabies is predicted to kill 59,000 people every year in over 150 countries, with rural areas in Africa and Asia being particularly vulnerable. Some other countries include China, Israel, and Japan. Rabies is a serious concern throughout Asia with an annual mortality toll of 35,172 people. In Asia, India is responsible for 59.9% of rabies deaths and 35% of global rabies mortality. India now has the highest rate of human rabies in the world. Area with weakest economic level, vulnerable categories including children under 15 years of age, older people, immune-compromised, heavily exposed or isolated places are more likely to contract rabies. The most rabies cases in Peninsula of Malaysia were reported in states bordering Thailand, especially Perlis, Kedah, Perak, Kelantan, and Selangor. In Sarawak, the virus was traced back to free-roaming canines observed crossing the border into West Kalimantan. Rabies is a devastating viral zoonotic illness with one of the highest mortality rates in the world. Rabies has been known to occur in Malaysia since 1884, but no records of cases were kept until 1924. In 1945, the old province of Wellesley, now Seberang Perai in Pulau Pinang State, and Perak saw the first large outbreak of rabies in Malaysian history. During the Great Outbreak of 1945, a big number of Allied forces carried dogs from endemic Burma, Myanmar into Peninsula Malaysia and introduced them to the local population. In 1952, the state of Selangor became afflicted for the first time. In 2021, the World Association for Animal Health declared Malaysia rabies-free and there has been no major epidemic. However, during the 2015 epidemic, 3 states were designated rabies infected, including Perlis, Kedah, and Pulau Pinang, all of which are located in the northern portion of Peninsula Malaysia's west coast, not far from Thailand, which is endemic for the disease. In 2017, Sarawak reported a rabies outbreak and it was suspected that the virus originated in southern Kalimantan, where rabies has been endemic since 1906. The first ever case of rabies was in Sibu, a district in Sarawak, involving a little girl bitten on the face by a rabid stray dog. According to a recent declaration from the local government, nearly half of the dogs sampled in Cebu tested positive for the rabies virus. In Sarawak, rabies is now considered an ongoing outbreak with 33 human deaths reported. The survival rate among rabies victims is 4%, making it a major public concern. Rabies is spread by infected saliva that enters the body through a bite or broken skin. The virus travels from the wound to the brain where it causes swelling or inflammation. The rabies virus wants to make its home in a nerve cell, the smallest part of our central nervous system. When there's a bite from an animal with rabies, the virus attaches to a healthy nerve cell. Then the virus multiplies, making a lot more viruses like itself. Those viruses move on and attach to other nerve cells until eventually they get to the brain. The virus can cause the brain to swell, and the person with rabies may go into a coma and die. Prevention of rabies infection. First step is to vaccinate our pets. Cats, dogs, and parrots can be vaccinated against rabies. As veterinarian, how often our pets should be vaccinated. Secondly, keep our pets confined. Keep our pets inside and supervise them when outside. This will help to keep our pets from coming in contact with wild animals. The third prevention is report stray animal to local authorities. Call local animal control officials or other local law enforcement. Next, don't approach wild animals. Wild animals with rabies may seem unafraid of people. It's normal for a wild animal to be friendly with people, so stay away from any animal that seems unafraid. Consider the rabies vaccine when traveling or often being around animals that may have rabies. If we travel to a country where rabies is common and we will be there for an extended period of time, ask doctor whether we should receive the rabies vaccine. This includes traveling to remote areas where medical care is difficult to find. Last but not least is to keep bats out of our home. Seal any cracks and gaps where bats can enter our home. If you know you have bats in your home, work with a local expert to find ways to keep bats out. Before I end my presentation, these are the list of our references. I hope the information is useful to all of you. That is all for me. Thank you.